Right, so in this video, we're going to pick up where we left off. We've completed the overview and the prerequisites for the new AI Studio configuration with the Azure Sandbox. And here we're going to actually go and we're going to deploy this configuration. So to do that, I'm going to, in my client environment, I'm going to launch VS Code. And I'm automatically starting up with the Azure Sandbox GitHub repository cloned with the latest release of the Azure Sandbox. And we're going to change the directory down into extras and also one more time into the AI Studio extras configuration. So that would be here, AI Studio. So this is the configuration that we're working with. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my environment variable with the secret that we use for our service principal. So I'm going to do an export tf var arm client secret equals, and I'm going to go grab that secret, and I'm going to pause the video briefly while I do that. Okay, I've got my secret, so I'll go ahead and paste it in here. And the next thing I'm going to do is run the bootstrap. So Bootstrap goes and retrieves a bunch of default configurations state items from both VNet Shared and VNet App. And then here's the part where we, kind of set up the privileges for the user that's going to use AI Studio interactively. I'm assuming that that's going to be the user that I'm logged into the Azure CLI with, and I'm automatically populating the ID for that user. But if you need to change it, you can change it here. So we go ahead and we set up the role assignments in the Bootstrapper. There's two of those. And again, we need owner RBAC privileges to do that role assignment. And I'm going to temporarily enable internet access to the storage account so I can upload some files that we'll use in smoke testing. Now, when you enable public internet access, it takes a bit for that to propagate. So we have a little wait involved in the Bootstrap script so that it doesn't fail when we try to upload those files. So we go and grab the storage key, and here's where we're going to go ahead and upload the files. All right, the files are uploaded. We go ahead and disable public internet access to the storage account to lock that down. And the Bootstrapper will wrap up at that point. And so at this point, we have our terraform.tfrs file created with all the configuration information that Terraform is going to require to apply this configuration. So I'm just going to, at this point, I'm going to do a Terraform init. And we'll initialize our providers. And we could do a Terraform validate to make sure it's syntactically correct. And we can do a Terraform plan to see what will get provisioned if we apply this configuration. I think it's like 10 resources that get applied here. So yep, it's going to say that the 10 resources will get added. They're all listed here. We kind of went through those in the previous video, so I won't detail those right now. And now we just go ahead and apply the configuration. That process takes roughly 5 minutes or so. So you can see here we're creating the AI Studio AI Services resource, a AI search service, an App Insights workspace, a container registry, and those are a lot of the dependent resources that have to get built before we can create our AI Studio Hub. We're also building the private endpoints for everything. Now, the only thing that we're not connecting using private endpoints would be the App Insights workspace and the Key Vault, and that was intentional to kind of facilitate use of those resources, for demo situations. Otherwise, we could have locked those down as well using private endpoints. And now we're creating the hub. Now, the search service isn't required to create the hub. We're going to connect up to that later. So that's why those are getting provisioned at the same time. All right, so our AI services resource is created. The private endpoints for those resources are created. And the container registry and the hub and the search service are all still provisioning. All right, our hub is finished provisioning. And I think the last thing to finish up will be the search service and the associated private endpoint for the search service called AI Search, formerly known as Cognitive Search. Lots of branding changes in the AI suite of tools and services. All right, our search service deployed. It took about 6 minutes or so, and now it's provisioning the private endpoint for the search service, which should be the last bit. Okay, so we've got 10 resources were provisioned, no errors reported. If we go inspect the state file, we should see 10 different resources here. So everything provisioned successfully. So that'll conclude the getting started section. We've got the configuration successfully provisioned, and we'll pick up in the next video and go through some smoke testing of AI Studio. Thanks.